go to school, honey?
My lunchbox.
Oh, with a lunchbox, okay.
There's lawnmowers.
Islam.
I'm gonna buy us a little bit of time to screen share our intro. We got a little bit of a late start here.
All right. Face to east. Heels together, forming a 90-degree angle. 5 fingers on your left hand and 2 fingers on your right hand as you repeat the Moorish American prayer after our grand sheet, Brother Warren Harrison.
It's lawnmowers.
Islam.
Allah, the Father of the universe,
the Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
the Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide,
my God,
and my salvation,
and my salvation,
by night
by night
and by day,
and by day,
through his holy prophet,
through his holy prophet,
through Ali.
through Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Arise and give praise to Allah, Father of the universe, Father of the highest principles known to man. I give honors to our prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to the forerunner of the prophet, Brother Marcus Messiah Garvey. I give honors to all of the past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakely Bey. I give honors to our past Grand Chief, Brother R. Love Eel, and to our present Grand Chief, Brother R. Jones Bey, and to his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bey. I give honors to all national, state, and local officials, past and present. I give honors to our Grand Governor here in the state of New York, Brother D. Park Eel, and to his assistant, Brother A. Gaines Eel. I give honors to our Grand Sheik here at Temple number 34, Brother Y. Cyrus Eel, and to his assistant, Brother W. Clendenin Bey. I give honors to our chairman here at Temple number 34, Brother Steve Ferguson Eel, and I give honors to all of the officials here at Temple number 34. Give honors to all of our chiefs, chiefesses, and I give honors to all of our members. I'll turn your attention to the divine constitution and bylaws, salvation, our God, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Noble Drew Ali's founder, Moorish American prayer, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. As I've read the divine constitution and bylaws, I'm going to turn your attention to the great meeting is on, Quran questions for Moorish Americans, found on page 7. Questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand chiefs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Before acting upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Chief. Act 2. All members are to attend their added meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch him. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hand, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Page 8, Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Muslims may be seated as I turn your attention to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the Noble Prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his Father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God, Allah. I'm going to turn your attention to page number 16, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 10. Jesus spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindu. Benares is the sacred city of the Bronx, and in Benares, Jesus taught. Udraka was his host. Udraka made a feast in honor of his guests, and many high-born Hindu priests and scribes were there. And Jesus said to them with much delight, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. The universal Allah is one. Yes, he is more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a thrill from center to the outer bounds of life. And when you crush beneath your foot the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Allah and cause the sword of life to tremble in its sheath. The birds sing out its song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ant constructs its home, the bee its sheltering comb. The spider weaves her web, and flowers breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them strength to toil. Now, men and birds and beasts and creeping things are deities made flesh. And how dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world awry. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill, nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. A lawyer said, I pray to Jesus, tell, who is this Allah you speak about? Where are his priests, his temples, and his shrines? And Jesus said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls, nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. All people worship Allah, the one, but all the people see him not alike. The universal Allah is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune Allah. One sees him as a law of might, another as a law of thought, and another as a law of love. A man's ideal is his God. And so as man unfolds, his God unfolds. Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. The nations of the earth see Allah from different points of view. And so he does not seem the same to everyone. Man names the part of Allah he sees, and to him is all of Allah. And this to him is all of Allah. And every nation sees a part of Allah, and every nation has a name for Allah. You Brahmins call him Parabrahm. In Egypt, he's Thoth, and Zeus is his name in Greek. Jehovah is his Hebrew name. But everywhere, he is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. When men are afraid of Allah and take him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests and charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayers. And when they fail to win his favor by their prayers, to buy him off with sacrifice of animals or birds. When man sees Allah as one with him, as Father Allah, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. He goes straight up to him and says, "My Father God Allah." And then he lays his hands in Allah's own hand, and all is well. And this is Allah. You are, each one, a priest just for yourself. And sacrifice of blood, Allah does not want. Just give your life in sacrificial service to the all of life, and Allah is pleased. When Jesus had thus said, he stood aside. The people were amazed, but strove among themselves. Some said, he is inspired by holy Brahma. And others said, he is insane. And others said, he is obsessed. He speaks as devil speaks. But Jesus tarried not. Among the guests was one, a tiller of the soil, a generous soul, a seeker after truth, who loved the words that Jesus spoke. And Jesus went with him, and in his form of gold. Islam. If you haven't had the opportunity to just kind of settle in, take a couple of deep breaths, prepare yourself for our Sunday school. Just silence your phone for evil at this point in time. If not, just at least put them on vibrate. I would like to turn our attention over to our Grand Sheikh as he holds Sunday school. Islam. What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arm. What a blessed peace, what a joy is mine, leaning on the everlasting arm. Cause we are leaning, safe and secure from all unknown. We are leaning on the everlasting arm.
Islam Moors, first I rise and give praise to Allah. I give high honors to his illustrious prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We give honors to all of the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, etc. I give honors to the forerunner to the prophet, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who said, up, a mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. I give honors to everyone and everything that our assistant chairman, Sister C. Seals Ill, gave honors to. Give honors to our past leadership, our present leader, the Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Jones Bey. Praise Allah. Giving honors to his predecessors, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, Brother J. Blakely Bey, and Brother All Love Ill. Our past Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honors to the assistant Grand Sheikh, Brother A. Hopkins Bey, to the chairman, Brother P. Chase Ill. Praise Allah, and to our new assistant chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, our own brother, former Grand Sheikh of Temple number 34, Brother W. Clinton Bey. Praise Allah. Honors to all of our national leaders. We give honors to all our national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Praise Allah for this organization being organized. so that we can be unified. Praise Allah. I give honors to our Grand Governor, who has remained the same this year, Brother D. Clark Ill, as he serves his second term as Grand Governor of the state of New York, and to his assistant, Brother D. Gaines Ill, A. Gaines Ill. I give honors to our Grand Chief Emeritus, Sister E. German Bay, and to all of the officials of Temple number 34. I give honors to the Charter of the Mormon Science Temple of America, which is crooked today with its 10 great wonders and mysteries of the world. It gives us the right to teach Islam in America without molestation. I give honors to the two flags, to the American flag for the government for which it stands, and to the Moorish flag for the nation for which it stands. Red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. And those 5 points represent the 5 highest principles known to man. Such a very powerful concept, core concept. The 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the vibration that's equated to them that connects us to the great God of the universe, Father of the universe. We give honors to all of the prophets' literature. Praise Allah more. We're going to jump right in. We apologize. We had a little bit of a bumpy start this afternoon. We're going to go into the questionnaire, and I wanted to start off. I am going to jump directly into a series of questions to get the Moore's gears going. And those, I'd never like to skip the first page of questions, definitely the first 7. So I'll read those before we go to page 3. Question number 1, Morris, who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah.
Can we see him?
Yeah.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In our
In the heart. Sister M. Serrano Bay.
Yes.
How do you meet Allah in the heart? That's a tough question for her, right? Well, where do you meet Allah? Where can you meet the great God Allah, Sister Michaela?
Where do you meet Allah? Where's the nearest place to meet Allah?
In the heart. Praise Allah. Brother I. Smith Ill, can you tell Sister Michaela how do we meet Allah in the heart? Islam.
Praise to the great God Allah, the honor to Allah, Prophet, the Prophet, you meet Allah in the heart by prayer and meditation.
Islam. Did you hear that, Kate? Prayer and meditation. Do you know how to pray to the great God Allah? You know a prayer to get you to the great God Allah?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Islam. Moving along. I'm gonna switch my camera back. Question number 5. Who is Noble Drew Ali?
Prophet.
What is a prophet?
The prophet is the thought of Allah manifested in the flesh.
Thought of Allah. Question number 7. What is the duty of a prophet?
Save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Save nations from the wrath of Allah. I'm tempted to open that door and go into that conversation. But I'm going to pass. I'm going to use my rudder, and I'm going to proceed towards the topic I wanted to touch on. But question 7 says, the prophet is to save the nations from the wrath of Allah. We got a mic unmuted. Okay, this is KK. The other Kayla. Praise Allah. Let's go to page 3. And this is a page that in the questions before the last question on page 2 actually transitions into the topic of Jesus. Well, it actually was talking about Jesus because it transitioned from our customs and flags and our religion to who is Jesus and his family and his genealogy and what was his mission. Then it gets into something very interesting. So I'm going to start with question 36. Now, my target is 46. Question 46, but I'm going to go down to 51. Question 36. What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus means justice.
Did the angel give the child that was called Jesus a holy name?
Yes, but it cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin.
Powerful. What is an angel?
An angel is the thought of Allah
In human flesh. What are angels used for?
carrying messages to the four corners of the world to all nations.
What is our prophet to us?
He is the angel of Allah who is sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah.
All very interesting, chunky, cryptic question and answers. I'm going to keep going though. What is the everlasting gospel?
It is the saving power that comes from Allah to his prophet.
What is the covenant of the great God Allah?
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth, land which the Lord thy God Allah has given you.
Islam, and this is the part that I'm gonna pause to anyone that wants to delve into any questions from those previous questions. On once, with that first set, there's a lot. I mean, that's talking about open up a door. Those are all kind of hallways right there. Sister Filza, Islam. Islam.
Praise and honor is already given at the onset of the meeting. Just want to again give a special Islam to the youth and to our new sheiks. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Wow.
I was just gonna say, just the order I thought was very interesting because it identifies what an angel is, right? And then it directly connects back to what is our prophet to us. So it's directly kind of just running it in a certain line, right? Communicating what an angel is, specifically manifested in human flesh, right? And then it asks us what is our prophet to us, and it says it's an angel of Allah. Since it brings us the everlasting gospel of Allah, so letting you know that our prophet is an angel. And then it continues on to angel also for this last gospel and what angels used for. And so then it just again connects back in to our prophet being a universal prophet. And so when it talks about to all nations, to spreading that gospel and that message to all nations to the four corners, that would be the thought that came to mind.
Islam.
Great question.
That looped me right back to that door. That was something banging on the other side of that door. It said, what is a prophet? A prophet is a thought of what is the duty of a prophet? To save nations in the wrath of Allah. Think about the wrath of Allah, and you know, depending on how tall your antennas are or how strong, you know, you look at some of the things that are going on. The prophet was a prophet. I'm always fascinated by the first 29 oral statements that Brother Love will put them in that order. But the first 29 are all warnings of wrath, you know, domestic and global, actually. So I'm gonna leave that door closed.
Wow,
Thanks to
wow.
Brother Turnerbeck.
Praise the Lord is already given. I was actually having this talk, yesterday, the day before yesterday, about that wrath, and that was one of the things that to me about the prophet, that his word measured up. I'm saying everything that it was ever said about the future, about the past, it's measured up, and it comes back as truth. So it's like undeniable what he said about in the old statement about Detroit.
He's gonna go down.
But not just go down, it would have
Grass
growing taller buildings. And when you look at maybe 2014, 15, it was in the newspaper. No, so and the grass was like desolate, and they was arguing over it. Nobody wanted it was up for sale.
Yeah.
The whole Detroit city.
Yep.
You know, that's when I started studying, like, you can own a city. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And it's true. So it's like, is every word he said is what? Spirit. So we better take heed. And that leads me on to the to what I believe Watson or Buddha said about heed. When you heed something.
Yeah.
I don't got it all right now. When I get on cap, I'll come back.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. The prophet, that's the first oral statement. Every word I speak is, I think it's the first oral statement. Every word I speak is spirit, you more said better heed. And one of his oral statements says, before one jot or tittle of my word fails to come to pass, heaven and earth will pass away. that's.
One tittle?
Yeah,
Not one tittle.
One
Oh,
tittle, one jot, one
Praise
tittle,
the
that's heavy duty. I see, my brother's, Skipper Bay, has his hand up, and then I'm gonna go back to a thought Sister Fields had brought up. Brother Skipper Bay? Islam.
What stuck out to me most of all, when I first got was more scientific. What is the angel? Is the angel the thought of Allah manifested in human flesh? The human flesh is what awakened me and opened my mind up to what the degree of the angel is, because Allah sends angels and messengers, angels and prophets before to warn a nation before he destroys it. And I know in Christianity that we are taught that angels aren't human. But in the Bible, it shows that angels appear to be human over and over again, coming to warn nations. Even got them warning Abraham when he had 3 visitors in chapter 18 of Genesis. They were one of them, the 3 visitors. One was supposed to have been the Lord, and the others were angels that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah later on. But they came to warn him that this is what they were doing. And, you know, if they can't find nobody righteous enough to save the whole nation, people, you know?
The nation.
So Abraham was pleased with it. But the whole thing is that these angels appeared in human form. And it's interesting because I was reading the Quran the other day of Mecca. It said that Gabriel came to Mary and appeared to Mary in the form of a man. And that's how.
Right, what they call it, immaculate conception.
According to the Quran.
Islam. I would be very curious, Brother Skipper Bay, if you can share that with me after the meeting. I'm curious about that particular Quran verse. Praise Allah. It's funny that you mentioned those angels in Sodom and Gomorrah and manifesting in human flesh, which is the story that goes into Sodom and Gomorrah. I was thinking about something earlier today I was listening to, which is similar to today for the turn-based signaling, which I agree completely. I was listening to someone today that was talking about the keys to the kingdom, and how the world, man is the Lord of the plane of soul and the plane of things made manifest, but we gave away our birthrights just to gratify our lower self. To match 2 verses together. And but you know, in Sodom and Gomorrah, this person was describing how we view the world incorrectly, and we add new terms onto things that were rules put in place by the great God Allah previously. But I won't go there because it's off topic. He said we call it drinking, and in the gospel they call it drunkenness.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We call it an affair, but it's called adultery in the gospel. We call it being gay, and it's called sodomy in the Bible. Whoa, that's a really deep thought. But I want to stay on task. I'm gonna go into the second set of questions, and I wanted to follow Sister Sylvia's thought and extend not only, again, congrats to we got a newly appointed national official and our assistant Grand Sheik, former Grand Sheik, now the assistant chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We also have 4 new sheiks here in Temple number 34, including Sister Jordanelle, our secretary, brother, and chairman of the Sisters Auxiliary, Brother Jordanelle, Mufti in training, assistant treasurer, Brother Kate Turner Bay, acting Mufti, and Brother Isaac Hill, also an acting Mufti. Praise Allah. And I wanted to extend that same thought to some of the other sheiks around the country and in our family, including Sister B. Reeves Bay. I want to do that. I'm trying to figure out the proper way to do that. I wanted to send my sister, I asked Brother Barry Bay to send an address, we can send a card to my sister, something, flowers, what's appropriate, you know, she became a sheik. I remember my little sister when she first joined here at Temple 34, and she was definitely very studious. And that's an honor. And sister S. Martin Stansel is also a sheik. Praise Allah. You know, this is the doctor, sister Dr. Sheik. You know, like I call brother Obasadape. Dr. Sheikis, actually. Praise Allah. And I'm not aware if more Sister Silva, did you see or any other sheiks that I might know, because I wasn't at the ceremony this year. Any other sheiks that actually came across that we may know of?
Not offhand. I know that you don't know of a variety of people, so I don't want to proclaim to say yes or no right away. But none that I could readily think of. But I'll show you, I guess, a picture and just so you can see who it was there.
Praise Allah, praise Allah. Congratulations to both of our sisters upstate, as well as our brothers and sisters here at Temple number 34. So I'm gonna go on. Islam, brother Kandinami, I should have thought of that. Islam is yes, brother Chairman.
I give praise to Allah and honor to the Prophet. I was thinking about brother Drayton Hopkins Bay.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, the brother that's married to brother Hopkins Bay's sister. He became a sheik this year.
Wow, I thought I saw that. I wasn't sure, and I didn't dare to ask because that brother waited a long time, right, brother Kandinami? Wow, brother.
Yeah, he's been around for about 10 years or more.
Oh man, this guy's at least 13. He was there when I went to Temple 11 in 2010. And you know, Temple 11 is very hard to become a chief there, Moors. Very hard. That's the brother that plays ball. He's light complected. Yeah. And he got jokes for it forever. If you ever been down there, he's always talking about basketball, and he's gonna hit you with some jokes. He became a sheik this year. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you, brother Clinton Bay. Wow. Wow. Congratulations to all of our sheiks. Let's keep going so we don't get caught too far into the time. I want to go into the second part of those questions and get into this question that I actually had. Question number 43 asks, Moors, and we'll repeat this together. At what age did Jesus begin to teach?
At the age of 12.
Where did he teach?
India, Africa, and Europe.
India, Africa, and Europe. How long did he teach?
18 years.
What did Jesus say that would make you free?
Truth.
But that's the question. What did Jesus say that would make you free? And I'm gonna come back to that, but let's trail down to 51. What is truth?
Truth is art.
Truth is art. What is art?
Art is Allah.
Wow. Art is Allah. This is cryptic, but it ain't too cryptic. It's a lot of this hanging out. It's very straightforward. Can truth change?
Truth cannot change nor pass away.
Wow. That's we were talking the other week, and I was saying that's what you. And when in doubt, in the earthquaking of the world or the wrath starts happening, when the earthquakes happen, we want to try to find a secure place, right? You know, you want to grab onto something that's not going to crush, crumble, or wash away. And the truth is like that. Truth does not change or pass away. That is powerful. What other name do we give to truth?
Holy breath.
Holy breath. What have you to say about holy breath?
Holy state it's great, it's good, and it's more to be.
Amen.
Can we try that one more time?
Yes, Lord. One more time. What have you to say about holy breath?
All we can say is great.
It was, it is, and evermore to be. Amen. Praise God.
Thank you, Sister Silville. I think I see, is that our chairman? Oh, that's the AGS. Whoa! It's the chairman, Board Science Temple of America. Praise God. Islam, Brother Kandinami Bay. That's a pleasant surprise.
I appreciate it.
I don't even know how that. So I was thinking of, my thought was on not magic, but miracles.
Right.
You know, the miraculous. And I threw out the answer to my first question. What do you see in this? What did Jesus say that will make you free? You know, the truth. What does that mean? The truth will make you free. And a lot of times they say will set you free. Brother Smithville, sheep.
Islam.
Islam.
Baselines already given. I was just thinking about the exact sort of like section, for the past couple of days. Because of all the different connections that are made to our divine. So Jesus is love made man. After purity is paved by John Hartley. And Jesus' name means justice. And Jesus came to teach about peace on earth and goodwill to men. So we got love, we got peace, we got freedom. His name meaning justice. And what did he say that was such a free? It's truth. And in my understanding, at least at the time, like you were bringing at the time, praise Allah, is that he was seeking to redeem the Israelites from the Iron Hand oppression, the Philistine nations of Europe, or governing portion of Palestine at that time. And they were putting on a different ideology on the Israelites and the Canaanites and the people of that land. So he would bring them back to the religion and the creed of their ancient forefathers, which is that man, Allah, and man are one. There's no separation. So that truth would free them from the servitude or the spoil or almost the mental slavery.
Islam. Islam. Wow,
Praise Allah. I hope the ones online can hear the brother as well. Praise Allah.
Islam, praise Allah. That last part, he said, freedom how and how?
Free them from the mental slavery or that servitude or that toil by reminding them of their Father God Allah.
In my opinion, I would say that the greatest slavery is mental slavery. Because your thought is the cause of it all, and your thoughts are being distorted, then you're locked up in a pretty bad way. I could go on and on about that. It speaks to the United States that physically captive and then mentally captive. Which one was worse? You got to think about it. I'm gonna go to my brother and my sister. If you can give us your names again, I'd be one of for some reason they remind me a lot of there's another family, the Brackenberry Babe family, and then, I don't know why the names entangled. Can you one more time, and then your daughter's name actually too, so I can make sure to get hers down.
Oh, my name's Nathaniel Critchlow.
Critchlow. I don't know why I can't get that down. Critchlow and sister
Shanice.
Shanice. It would be easier because the sister she gets from upstate. His name is Shanice. Nathaniel Critchlow. That's okay. I'm gonna get it down. What's your daughter's name?
Melanice, Emerald, and Michelle.
Melanice. What's the little one that was here with us? Because you named two. Is that one name or two people?
Three names.
Three names. Okay. Which one was in here with us a couple of times?
Melanice.
Okay, Melanice, Shanice, and Nathaniel. Brother Nathaniel, if you can stand for us. This verse, what did Jesus say will make you free? Truth. How does that register to you when you see that, when you hear it? Have you heard it? What are some thoughts that come to mind?
Truth. For me, it means never lying, always being truthful to yourself and everyone else, and more or less not committing sin.
Islam, absolutely. And I just saw Sister Jordan now. How could truth set you free? I'm gonna go to Brother Nathaniel. I want you to answer that. And I'm gonna go to Sister Jordan. And I'm gonna go back to our scientist in the back, Brother Skipper Bay, Divine Minister. How can truth set you free? We're kind of sketching around it, but it's a broad thought.
It is. Truth can set you free. As you guys said, it's like a mental type slavery. So in order to not be stuck in a slave mentality.
Yes.
And that should make you free from any type of
Praise
bad
Allah.
behavior.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Very good answer. I agree with that completely. Thank you for that. And he chose his words very carefully because how you answer and how you think about this particular situation has tremendous ramifications. And I'll say this as I go to Sister Jordanelle, as Brother Skipper Bay, and I see Brother Turner Bay's hand, that it says in the Quran that our Quran says in all the world there's truth and falsehood. The Quran of Mecca says it's over and over that there are believers and unbelievers because there are two modes of going through the world. One is seeking after truth actively, and there's the other one that they have no interest in truth at all. I always equate it to playing life as though it's a game. There's a way that you do this, there's a way that you do that. And it's not about, no, there's right and there's wrong, you know what I mean? Which is very interesting. And truth is the key to that. If you don't, like Brother Nathaniel said very steadily, seek the truth. In my words, the same thing. Then you're on this two different paths. Okay, I'm after but turn Bay. I'm gonna go to Sister Seals. I'm going to Sister Jordan now. Sister Sheep, you have the floor.
Islam.
Islam.
First, I'm going to rise and give praise to Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and to everything that the assistant chairman gave honor to at the opening of this meeting. Praise Allah. I just wanted to say about truth that just we were talking about it and having a deeper meaning, and just to kind of round it out or open it up a little bit more. That I remember always being told that, and growing up in the church, you learn, Jesus said that truth will set you free, and that thinking on an academic level and the study in school and learning all the basic rules of life and education. And so there's a search for truth there. And oftentimes in many universities and colleges, you'll go in onto their campus and you'll see that they have it printed too in some shape or form that truth will set you free. And I think there's also another level to that. There's one way of thinking on that end. And then there's this other level of the fact of just accepting that which is as just that is truth. Just as with, I was thinking about Jesus and his message, and he spoke his message, and there were those who believed him, those who ridiculed him, and those who didn't even pay any mind to him. But he continued to finish his message because he knew he spoke truth, and those who believed what he said accepted the truth of what he was saying. They believed him and who he was. So then I began to think a little bit about how this applies to me as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend. And I was thinking, about when Mary went looking for Jesus and Jesus had responded, right? Because we think about the responses we get from our children, and Jesus had responded, do you not know that I must be about my Father's work? For that's a truth that I think Mary, though she understood the child she carried and the task she had, accepting truth of the reality of the child she had is a separate thing. So she had to accept the fact that her son was more than just her baby, but that he was special, and that he was prophet, and that, so that, think about that as I try to think like, how could I be like as a mom? What would I think? How would I feel? Then I also thought about the next time when Ravana saw and wanted him to come and study, wanted Jesus to come and study, and Jesus wanted to go, and there's that sentence there where it talks about that his parents had to think about it for a while. And so in that moment, I think it's because those are the moments when we have to go into deep thought about things, and in reflection that we begin to see and reveal truth continues to be revealed to us. And it is us oftentimes, because truth is just that truth, that won't accept it as it is. And so that's what I just wanted to add, my 2 cents. So with that, I say peace.
Praise Allah. Thank you, Sister Jordan. You said a whole lot there. And I would try to carry that thought. Several verses came to mind. The insufficiency of knowledge, where it actually says, naturally doth man desire the truth. Well, I would start with in chapter 7, where it says, understanding is the rock on which man builds himself. It's the gnosis of the art and of the naught, meaning separating very carefully the truth from falsehood. So in that chapter where Jesus said that message, chapter 10, And the Indians were like, oh, that, you know, they couldn't process it. They didn't really want to hear it. It was very
I know, I think he's.
Oh, brother R. Jordan Hill's hands up now, too. Praise Allah. They couldn't process it. They said he speaks as devil speaks. Sister Silza read the chapter early on. They didn't want to hear the truth. It was too strong for them. It was too complicated. You're talking about overhauling our whole belief system. What are you talking about, Jesus? But those that are able to really peer into a situation and siphon out the difference between, to separate the truth from falsehood, can appreciate truth correctly. And that's where that verse from the insufficiency of knowledge, where it says, instruction 19, page 55, says, naturally doth man desire the truth, yet when it is before him, he will not apprehend it. And if it force itself upon him, he is not offended at it. And it brings you back, and I'm going to not read from this whole verse. I'm not going to read from it at all. Chapter 7 is essentially saying that man has to make himself the truth. And when he does, there are certain powers that come online, which is the reason why I brought up this area. As you go into the wrath, when you're able to embrace the truth and hold on to it, no matter what it looks like or how fearful it may be, you know, difficult it may be, there's a power in that. And I'm going to go to Brother Skipper Bay, and then Brother Turner Bay, Sister Stills Hill, and Brother Jordan there. And I'm going to bypass. I have something I was going to share. I may just go with this conversation. This is an important one. Brother Skipper Bay.
Really a good topic. It says that man, truth and falsehood is strangely mixed. And it also said that the higher self is the embodiment of truth. It's teaching the truth making you free is teaching man to know himself. To teach him his true identity.
Come on.
To know who he is.
Come on.
And that man is true. But man has to unfold and discover that truth within inside himself.
Come on.
It's not going to be, it's a never-ending search. There's no limit to seeking truth, but it has many levels. So you might have to seek truth in different levels as you go up in degree of knowledge and understanding. You come into truth, but you have to more so come into the identity of who you are in that search of truth. And that's setting man free from the illusions of this world. Because it says, he who knows his higher self knows the illusions of the world. Know well the things
that will pass away. He who knows his lower self knows the illusions of the world.
Know well the illusions of the world, the things that pass away.
And he who knows his higher self knows
Allah.
Knows things
that
cannot pass away. Praise Allah.
You see what I'm saying? But truth is a never-ending search. And if you ask me what to study, I would say yourself. That's pertaining to truth. If you ask me again what to study, I would say yourself. Because never-ending search, that's what truth is. So there's no limit. Sometimes you think, oh man, I got the truth right here. And we have to look further and deeper than just right here.
That's correct.
You know, we got to look beyond
Islam
here, you know. So that's what truth is. And also, it's about freeing you from being a slave to sin. A slave to sin. That's what it means, that it'll make you free. Truth will make you free, making you free from being a slave to sin.
Islam.
And the thing is, I was doing a study and reading about the same thing in the 8th chapter of John. In the 8th chapter of John, it says that Jesus told them, disciples who believed in him, if you follow in my word, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And the whole thing is all about them knowing their identity, who they are. And most of them claim to be father of Abraham, but yet they weren't practicing what Abraham was practicing.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to kill him, and they came to kill him. And that's something that Abraham didn't do, but they claimed to be Abraham's seed by identity. And he said, no, you can't be Abraham's seed by identity because you plan to kill me. And a man who has told you the truth to set you free. They claim that they were never slaves to nobody. Never slaves to nobody. With the Israelites were slaves in Babylon and in Egypt. Who had been slaves in those places. But these Israelites, when Jesus came for to save the Israelites from the iron hand pressure of the Philistine nation, they identify themselves as never being slaves.
Wow.
So they were not really Israelites.
Right.
Peace.
Islam, peace, powerful, very, very powerful demonstration. Thank you for that, Brother Skipper Bay. Wow, there's so much that you just said there. And early on, you made me think of chapter 1 when it says, so we're describing how knowing the truth and understanding the truth can save you, can set you free. It says in chapter 1, in fact, man is the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. But he gave away his birthrights just to gratify his lower self, something to that extent, us to tell into the phrase. It is almost like you have a Lord that is actually in control. It should control all of the different delegations that go down and ramifications that go down. But he and she fell off of that perch and fell down into the mechanisms of their own kingdom, if you will, for lack of a better word. I call it Lord, equates to kingdom. And now you're subject to the things that you should rule over because of a misunderstanding. You know, when Jesus tells Barada Rabel that your thoughts are wrong, which means the ramifications of your thought are going to produce all kind of interference. That's a very powerful thought. I want to go to brother, I think who was next was Brother Turner Bay, Sister Silsdale, and then Brother Jordan L. Brother Turner Bay, he's going to yield to Sister Silsdale.
Praise the Lord, that's fine. That's fine. I was just gonna say, as we were speaking, we were just talking about the order and the questionnaire. Michaela, just because I'm sorry, because I'm talking doesn't mean it's okay to just move around. This is a temple meeting, you still have to listen. Everyone's sitting down to learn and so that they can hear. So I need you to listen, all right?
She got her sleepy face on. Why?
Praise the Lord. So just with the questions and the order, it also spoke about that the saving power, right? And also the everlasting gospel and a portion of that order before it even got there, right? And then it went down to speak to truth, but it spoke to it in the form of an equation, is how I looked at it, right? Talk about numbers and mathematics. So the truth is ought, and ought is Allah, and it's directly over one another. So if you did like almost like a truth as a number, so you put 1. So truth is ought, because it's all equal, right? Then we do cross multiplication, it would all cancel, not cancel out, but it would combine to get back to the 1.
Algebra.
So truth is means equal, and ought is the same as the truth, which is still the 1. So it would continue to still balance out in that number format as 1 and 1. But the understanding with relation to truth is that when you don't listen, the truth can land you in big trouble, right? So when the truth is put there for you, it's to save nations from the wrath of Allah, right? And it starts within the home, right? So every nation starts from the form, you know, the father, the mother, and the child. So basically the same foundation, right? As you're starting and even just looking at the behavior that she's seeing, we're in the middle of an expression, we're in the middle of talking about those things that directly relate to our character, salvation and building. And they gave us that example through Jesus, right? Brother Smithfield beautifully put together, just explaining the love may manifest, right? And it was able to express the concept of him speaking to the truth, but also what he was bringing was the freedom from the mental aspects of slavery, and his name meaning justice. So essentially like the 5 principles in flesh, right? For a man to comprehend. And not to mess with the brother's words, but that was the kind of thought that was brought forth. So that concept of man means a God who can see, but showing you that it can happen in bone and brawn, so to speak. Showing you that you can do these things in bone and in brawn.
Mhm.
But the truth, just with Lama in the aspect of him having that discussion with Jesus, as truth will set you free. I'm gonna say peace, Moss.
Peace. Take it easy on the little sister. She just praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you, Sister Steelville, for that thought. And I concur the thought in connecting to what Brother Smithfield said. Since I'm talking a lot, I'm gonna go to Brother Turnerbait and Brother Jordanell, and then I'm gonna tie this into the chapter that we're on, which is chapter 2. For today, Brother Turnerbait, I think is signaling for Brother Jordanell. You have the floor, Brother Sheep.
Islam family. First, I want to rise and give praise to the great God Allah, honors to his prophet, honors to all Sheikhs, his members and guests. Islam. I just wanted to say the brothers and sisters already answered it for me, but I just wanted to say the holy breath is the truth. You know, man is a spirit and part of Allah, and that's the only thing that's not going to pass away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, empires are going to rise and fall.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling towards people is going to rise and fall.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to change right before your face. But the only thing that's not going to change is the fact that we are spirits and a part of Allah.
Mm-hmm. Islam.
I'll end with that.
Praise Allah. That's a good point. A holy breath. We should always be aware and considering what is the holy breath. Over the years that I've been in this movement, it applies to me to 3 things at least. And I have never been able to consolidate it down into one. Holy breath is love. It's also the truth. When love and truth, when Jesus said the holy breath will fill the earth and air and clearing the way for endless life and perfectness and endless life. And holy breath also, to me, is also connected to our actual breath that we breathe. You know, in a way, I haven't been able to reduce it off and say, well, it can't just be breath, it's truth and love, which is very powerful. The holy breath, and truth is art and art is a law. Whatever you say, what else? What other name do we give to truth? And the answer is holy breath. Thank you, Brother Jordanell. With that, I want to segue while I can into our chapter. As we're talking about truth, and truth is connected, especially if you look really closely into chapter 7, and we'll continue to tie it up to end. Truth is connected to Allah, and the third word that Jesus is asked, he's asked about truth, he's asked about man, and then he's asked about power. And in Jesus' answer about power, he's talking about Allah, and he's talking about force and the omnipotence of the great God Allah. And you got to ask yourself, what is the connection between those? So when we go into chapter 2, which for 2 weeks, this may be our last week. This is the story about the saving and education of Mary and Elizabeth in Zoan is the title. Education of Mary and Elizabeth in Zoan, Egypt. And there was a miraculous saving of Mary, Joseph, and Elizabeth. Zachariah gets caught up in the fray of King Herod trying to get a hold of their little boys, John and Jesus. And in this chapter, we read down about this cycle age of time, you know, where it's going to be a foundation for the temple of perfect man. About the mighty work that theirs, and because, you know, teach the truth, men want they have to teach the light, to reveal the light, but men don't want the light, they love the dark. And I'm going to go down to this part, instruction number 18. When they finally, in the middle of this sacred grove, I was looking up Saqqara, temple of Saqqara, and the temple of Heliopolis. They're so close in North Egypt that I couldn't tell you if the sacred grove is, you know, I don't want to just assume that it's one or the other. Seems like it could be. They are actually in the temple of Saqqara, but I like to be certain for sure. And when you look it up, Heliopolis and Saqqara, really close to each other right there in the same vicinity. But when they get down to the lesson, this is the lesson. As they're in this grove and they were saved, and they're being set up to be taught and talking about their sons and the mighty work, he says, tell them this lesson, teach them this, finally, right? Instruction number 8. Let's do 18. We're gonna start from 17. Islam, but I'm gonna see if I can get someone to read this for us. If Sister Jordanelle, who else do we have on? Sister Jordanelle, are you able to? Sister Jordanelle, Brother Jordanelle, we got brother, I heard Brother Shaheen L on the line.
I'm gonna defer to someone else to have a sore throat.
Okay,
Praise
okay, all is well, all is well. And I see oh wow, I see the Berry Bay family on. Praise Allah.
Islam.
Islam, brother Coleman L. You have your Quran?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam first, I want to rise, give praise to Allah, and honor to the Prophet Abu Ali, honor to everything pertaining to Islam.
Islam.
17, right?
Yes, sir.
And you must teach your sons and set their souls on fire with love and holy zeal, and make them conscious of their mission to the sons of men.
Islam. Go. I like how you read that. Can you read instruction 18:2, Brother Coleman L?
Islam. Teach them that Allah and man are one.
Stop.
But
Right
through carnal thoughts and words and deeds, man tore himself away from Allah, debased himself.
Islam.
Woo!
I want that part right there. Teach your sons, teach them that Allah and man are one. That part right there. I would start by asking, I haven't, in thinking about it, I don't know if there is, actually, there are clues. I haven't read this anywhere prior to the Holy Quran or the More Science Temple of America, that Allah and man are one. Said like that, look at the inside of the cover, know thyself in Allah, it actually says on the inside cover. This is the verse. Allah and man are one. Anyone else? Have you heard? There's a couple other places, and I'll give my clues on where I've heard this before. Have you ever read anywhere else that Allah and man are one?
Islam.
Brother Coleman Hill and Brother Turner Bay.
Islam, I will say the Nation of Islam, they speak that type of science.
Very small, very good, very good. The Nation of Gods and Earth, specifically, they say the Nation of Gods and Earth even cured, which came from the Nation of Islam. They say we are God. That's what the whole purpose was. I am a God, you are a God, each one of us. But the More Science Temple of America is preceded the Nation of Islam. So the Nation of Islam took this same book and they altered or whatever, it derived from the More Science Temple. And the Nation of Gods and Earth comes from where? The Nation of Islam. So it comes from the same thought. This is the first. Brother Turner Bay, have you ever gleaned this concept anywhere else?
Islam. It's not specific like that.
It's not directly like
Not
that.
directly worded like that. The Quran and Mecca say he's closer than your jugular vein. And I believe the Bible says when Jesus speaks about tells the people you don't need no intercessor, you can go right up to him yourself. So each one of you are ministers or something like that. I know I'm chopping it up, but that's the first place where it like mentions something like that. Maybe one or two places in the Bible, but that version of Quran and Mecca says close to the jugular thing.
Praise Allah. I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna go to Sister Silsdale. When you read in the Quran of Mecca, it talks about in all of the various versions of the story of the creation of Adam. It did say the word to describe Adam. Anybody remember that word, Brother Skipper? You know the word I'm talking about. And I'm gonna go to Brother Clinton after Sister Silsdale to get his take on his thought. It used the word vicegerent. I am going to place a vicegerent in the earth. Talking about Adam. And that set off a whole bunch of disturbance where argument. One of the chief angels didn't agree with that thought. Hey, what is a vicegerent? Look up the word vicegerent when you get a chance. Brothers, Smithfield's gonna look it up for us. I'm gonna go to Sister Silsdale. I've never read it anywhere else. There's hints. And when I say there's hints, what the Prophet Noble Duali is revealing plainly was there all along. And it just wasn't said like the way the earlier prophets couldn't really, they didn't say it like that. But they did set it up to be understood once you know. And the prophet made it plain. Sister Silsdale.
Islam. I was just gonna actually think when we had mentioned Adam and Eve in this before, or just that concept. We know that that's connected in the questionnaire. And we also know that it says these are the 18 missing years from your Holy Bible. So I just was going to use the Bible as reference because the prophet spoke to it being 18 missing years out of the Bible. But I actually remember looking at this before. I was trying to find where else do they talk about being God. I think it's like a stage that you reach in the movement where you're like, wow, have I missed? Is everyone missing this? And you start looking and seeing where they're actually speaking and connecting to it. But I know in Genesis when it talks about them eating from the tree of life of knowledge. So there was a separate concept, the tree of knowledge, and then there was one that spoke about the tree of life. And there was a point that said, it said, for God knows that in the day you eat from the tree, your eyes will be open and you'll be like God. Right? And so it says knowing good and evil. Right? And then there's another part where it's still in Genesis. And it goes, the Lord God said, behold, that man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil, and now he might stretch out his hand and also take from the tree of life and eat and live forever. And so that was one of the verses. And then the acts is the one that stood out, because we have acts and in our laws, right? And so I was thinking about the connection with the prophet using acts. And then we actually have a portion in the Bible, and if you study the missing years of the Bible, but then he spoke to, but you know, that's not the Morris side. That was just something that I was thinking about in my unfoldment process.
Right.
Just to make sure it was a clear distinction.
Scientist, right. Exercise your
I don't want to put this burden of the thought on everyone else, whatever may come from it. That was my thought, praise the Lord. But was talking about back to the Apostle Paul. It says when they when the crowd saw what Paul had done, they raised their voice, saying in the Lycaonian language, the gods have become like men and have come down to us. And so there was actually another portion that kind of reminded me what the brother was speaking about when he spoke about the angels in the flesh. And he just spoke about also that portion of them coming down. And the last part that was in Ezekiel, it says, Son of man said to the leader of Tyre, thus the Lord God, because your heart is lifted up, and you have said, I am God, I sit in the seat of God, in the heart of the seas. Yet you are a man, not a God, although your heart like the heart of God. So that was him making an acknowledgement, and clearly them tearing it away with it. So I just want to speak to both sides to where they are saying it, and then in that same particular breakdown, people who were against him 2,000 years ago were kind of clearly voicing their thought.
Against them. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. This is one of those ones. Thank you, Sister Fieldsdale. Before I go to Brother Skipper Bay and Brother Clinton Bay, one of those ones where it's like the prophet puts a powerful truth in front of you, and your ability to unpack it and really understand it is on you. And once you really truly understand what it means that Allah and man are one, what happens? Going back to the truth will set you free and free in your mind so that you see things accurately. And this all goes back to the meaning of that definition that Brother Smithfield is going to give us, a vice-gerent. Definition of
point of information. We have Brother Anderson Bay on the line. We have the Berry Bay family on
Berry
the line.
Bay as well, which I want to.
I
want to pause. I'm going to give the last few minutes because they came on with a beautiful thought.
Brother Salemu Bay also on the line.
Brother Salemu Bay. When you look up the word vicegerent, you'll find a very interesting definition. Brother Smithfield is going to give it to us. And remember, Jesus, we'll go to Brother Skipper Bay first. Jesus was the vicegerent, as understood in Christianity as the vicegerent, and the Pope, because of Jesus, somehow took on this title, this which is defined and understood improperly. Let's go to Brother Skipper Bay first, then we'll read the definition. Then I want to go to the Berry Bay. Islam. Islam.
I'm gonna go with Jordan. I'm gonna go to what you were talking about before, where it says in chapter 7, it says Jesus said of understanding, what have you to say? No, Lamb said of understanding, what have you to say? And Jesus said, it is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the gnosis of the north and of the north, of falsehood and of truth. Right? The gnosis. Truth was the gnosis. And that was only handed down or passed through a very few who made themselves worthy of such truth and prepared themselves to accept truth. Not many people were able to handle the truth.
Right.
And one other thing, in the gospel, in the Bible, Jesus is explaining this very thing. Me and my Father are one. He says, you have seen me, you have seen the Father.
Yes.
He says the identity that him and God are one. All through the gospel.
That's right.
And that's one thing that they wanted to crucify him for. They called it blasphemy. They called it blasphemy. And they wanted to crucify him for that. But there's quite a few charges they had on him to crucify him. Few charges, more charges than that. Killing people on the holy day, all those different things. And, you know, he was being crucified for all these truth that he was revealing to the people. Now, when you're talking about the truth, truth is this particular thing that we, you know, I lost my train of thought.
Now you said a ton right there. I gotta pass out here.
I gotta admit, I lost my train of thought.
Chapter 48, they said that
the
truth is too strong for them. We can do this. I want to have Brother Smithfield read the definition, and then Brother Clinton Bay had the final thought on this because we're going to hit out of time, and I want to leave time for the Berry Bay family, so they can have the thought before the warning. Brother Smithfield.
Islam. Given vice chair is an administrative deputy of a king or magistrate, or the official administrative deputy of a ruler or head of state.
Is there additional? Keep looking for additional definitions. There's got to be a more direct one to that.
I was something, brother. Jordan has shared one in the chat. We just want to do a quick read it. I don't know if you want to pull it up.
Islam. Yeah, I see it. I can't make it big. Okay, I can. Thank you, Brother Jordanell. Brother Jordanell's vice chairman says a person exercising delegated power on behalf of a sovereign or ruler. That was close. I think if you go into Webster's, it'll have.
It says a person regarded as an earthly representative of God or a God, especially the Pope.
There you go. That's the one I'm looking for.
That's all in that.
There you go. I'm sorry, Brother Jordanell. I missed it. Let's go to our the assistant chairman of the Moore Science Temple of America, our former Grand Sheik Bud W. Clinton Bay.
I'll yield because I know we got to close out. You got some more comments. I'm good.
Islam. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Then with that, I want to, and that thought is, there ain't enough time. We could, you know, to really delve that. What I would just challenge the Moors is, well, all of our challenges, including mine, to fully understand what that means. This is a short lesson that they're telling that Jesus had to learn and Jesus had to teach. In the second half of that, but we tore ourselves away from Allah and debased ourselves through carnal thoughts, words, and deeds. Man tore himself away from Allah and debased ourselves to this position where we're all in right now. Praise Allah. I'm gonna go to brother. I got a camera backwards, brother. Anyone from the Berry Bay family, brother T. Berry Bay or sister L. Berry Bay. Praise Allah.
Islam, brother Grand Sheik.
Islam.
First, I rise and give praise to Allah, honor to His Prophet, honor to everything the chairman gave honor to at the onset of the meeting, and honor to this Sunday school, brother Grand Sheik. We just wanted to stick our heads in and congratulate you, Grand Sheik, on your new sheiks.
Praise Allah.
And to congratulate you and your special staff on your new sheiks. And we want to congratulate brother and sister Jordan Ill, brother I. Smith Ill, and brother Turner Bay, K. Turner Bay. You know, we want to welcome them. Congratulations, Moors.
Congratulations.
You know,
yes.
We wish you all much success in your journey.
Praise
you know,
Allah.
and we're actually in two meetings right now at the same time, Francie. But thank you for allowing us to have this moment. I don't want to interrupt the ethers of your Sunday school.
Yes,
with that, we say peace, Grand
Peace,
Sheik.
Moors.
Allah. Thank you, Sister
Love
Berry.
you, Moors.
Sister Berry Bay. We love you too. We were
Peace and love, family.
And earlier in the meeting, we were also extending that, returning that congrats to our little sister. We were talking about Sister B. Reeves Bay at the top of the meeting, who is now in Sheikah's of the Moorish Science Temple of America, as well as Sister S. Martin Stanton Ill. Congratulations to all the new sheiks. And I had asked, because I was blind in the meeting, who else? And I found out Brother Barry Bay, Brother M. Hopkins, Brother Clinton Bay said, Brother M. Hopkins Drayton Bay became a sheik this year.
Yes, yes.
Wow, praise Allah,
Yes.
powerful. You know, for a lot of reasons. So we thank you and we congratulate all of the sheiks. We congratulate our sisters, both of our sisters. Well, thank you so much.
Islam. Yes, I think Brother Anderson Bay wanted to congratulate them too, if it's all right with you, Grand Chief.
Absolutely, and whoever else is on from our temple, branch temple number 11, Brother S. Anderson Bay, and whoever else, praise Allah. You got the floor, brother.
I rise giving praise to Allah, honors the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, honors to everything that the chairman gave honors to, give honors to each and every one of you. I want to give praise and honors to all the brand new sheiks, sheikesses of temple number 34. And like I always say, Grand Sheik, you will always be my first Grand Sheik, and temple 34 will always be my first temple.
Islam.
We just send out a hot operation to y'all and say peace and love.
Islam. Peace. Thank you, Brother Anderson Bay. And
peace and love.
It's inspiring to see the Moors that are striving in such a way, and it's encouraging as we see that at the convention. I saw Brother S. Martin Stanton Ill got a chance to speak at the Rosham of the convention, the annual national convention, the Moorish Science Temple of America.
That's right.
Ted, our former Grand Sheik chairing the annual national convention. Brother Gibbs Ill speaking. Brother Bell Bay. I never saw all of the years I was there. I don't think I've ever seen Brother Bell Bay speak. It's very encouraging to see that the young Moors who are active and are focused and striving. Praise Allah. Thank you, Brother Anderson Bay.
Praise Allah.
Islam. And with that, I'm going to read the warning as we go into our secretary time. I'd like to thank everyone for your contributions, intention this afternoon. Praise Allah. I'm going to read the warning. If the muftis are ready. Give me a pen. January 15th, 1929, Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation. Islam. I got to get used to, give me a little thought, a little still small voice in my mind. I am not the highest official in the room. Islam. Brother Kanenbe technically is our assistant chairman. I got to get used to that. I insist, Brother Chairman. I want you to come read Islam. Praise Allah. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at your opinions. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Peace, Moors. And I'm going to call on our chairman and our acting secretary and sheik for the Smithfield. Take the collection.
Okay, let's leave it down.
I got more. You got extra battery today.
Secretary or?
Yes. I actually did not print them. We got to came like, oh, they came in Friday. Oh, you got AGS.
Let's see your tag team leader. One moment, my brother. Let me just get the announcement. You do the announcements, you wanna just let them?
No,
Gonna put all the trades, you're not gonna get nobody to help you?
Thank you, Marcia.
As far as we're just gonna take this moment to go into collections as well. We're gonna take local temple collections as well as the uplifting fund, local building fund, the emergency fund, and traveling. 1 second. Thank you.
Islam?
Islam, Sister J. Jordan Hill announcement, is that Islam?
Yes, Islam.
Okay.
I just have.
I just wanna make sure you hear our sister, as she's gonna, give some announcements just for the upcoming days, or maybe the month.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
You're done. Come over here.
Islam. So the first thing is I'll need to ask Grand Sheik if he's gotten any information about Charter Day for Temple 21 in terms of what day they'll be celebrating. I haven't seen any flyers or heard any announcements quite yet, so I don't know if has he heard anything?
Okay, the Grand Sheik just expressed that he hasn't heard anything as of yet, about, the sensitive information on any scheduling. But we do still know the same charter date, but we'll just look around and see if there's anything. We're not sure if there may be something on the Facebook page that might have been posted recently. I know you're generally on that as well, sis. So Grand Sheik is gonna get back to us after a quick follow-up with Brother G. Williamsville.
I'll check on that right away. Exactly tonight, Secretary. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. The
Thank
other
you.
one is just a reminder that October 15th is a special day when the movement was organized in 1925, and we're approaching the month of October. Usually there's the trek that happens in Philadelphia. And so I just wanted to throw that out there that, you know, if as we get closer to that, we'll send out more information, but I wanted to just put that onto the minds of the Moors at this time. As far as any other announcements, I'll leave the rest to Grand Sheik or to the chairman regarding the brother that we are assisting, our brother Grand Sheik that we're assisting. Praise Allah.
Islam, praise Allah. So Sister was just speaking, if you didn't hear her before, she was saying that October around the 15th, maybe the 14th, there'll be a trek through history that happens Saturday the 14th, as our brother AGS just expressed, Saturday the 14th in Philadelphia, which is an annual trek that's done with Temple number 11, who's also under the leadership of our assistant Grand National Grand Sheik, Brother A. Hopkins. Just pointed that out. She also pointed out that that was around the time frame of the first annual national convention. And so with that, I want to thank her for that information. Brother Grand Sheik just expressed that he had some information to share with the Moors regarding Brother J. Florence ill, and a thought that was also put together.
Islam. I'm gonna stand right here. Yes, we the main thing is that Sister Jordan may be able to announce that we would like to have a
Brother Grand Sheik can explain.
we would like to hold a prayer vigil for Brother J. Florence Hill. For those that didn't hear, Brother Florence Hill, who was the Assistant Grand Governor of the state of New Jersey and also the Grand Sheik of Trenton Temple number 48, got very sick out in Chicago. He actually, in fact, had a stroke and got stuck in Chicago from Trenton. And he's bed bound and unable to, having a hard time keeping his eyes open and moving. And so more, that's a really tough situation on a lot of levels. And so we're asking that the Moors, Sister Jordanelle is assisting us, our chairman of the Sisters Auxiliary here at Temple 34, and sending out reminders at 7:30, Sister Jordanelle, every evening, so that the Moors can, wherever we're at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, can stop and put a prayer and a healing thought out to the brother who is in Chicago.
7 p.m. Praise Allah.
7 p.m. The secretary said 7 p.m. We'll put that thought out there. Thought is the cause of it all. Thought is a very effective thing, depending on how you understand how effective a thought can be. A healing thought is a vibration. And long distance healing is real. I'll just say it like that. Cut to the chase on a lot of levels, but just on the most basic level, thinking about someone, wishing them well, extending them well, thought will help. So at 7 p.m. each night until our brother comes home, that's what we plan to do. And with that, I say thank everyone who's able to participate. Thank you, Sister Secretary. Peace.
Hey. Thank you. God just asking her to
Pull it out.
I'm telling you.
Turn it back.
It's I just want to again thank our Sister Secretary for communicating. He's also one of our newest sheikesses. Praise Allah. Brother I. Smith Ill is over here also handling the financial report. He was doing it before he became a sheik and continued to do it. Praise be to Allah.
Praise Allah.
And to give quick honors to our Grand Sheik who's out there in the audience, who is Sister M. Serrano Bay. Honors to the families who came out today. We have the Critchlow and Cornwall family. We also have, it's no problem. I'm just sitting here, I don't know how, du jour, babe. I was sitting here, I had to call for a second to mine as and their daughter, praise Allah. She's all right, you don't have to take her out. She's completely fine. Thank you so much. At this time, I also want to send a thought out for our chairman. I'm not sure if anybody's on the line to give him a quick text. I know it's raining. I didn't necessarily get a text from our chairman and just let us know he's running late. But we know the phones die out, the dad reception. We might have it in a secure location while it's raining to make sure it doesn't get wet, like I know some of the Moors have had experience with.
Right.
So praise Allah. I just wanted to use this time and moment if there was a thought that maybe was shared by any of the Moors or something maybe that one of the Moors maybe wanted to share for the moment. If there's any hands up.
Islam.
Islam, is that Brother Coleman Neal?
Islam's sister Sheikis.
Islam, praise Allah.
Islam, I'm bring our attention to chapter 25, the Holy Comfort of the Asiatic Nation. This is like a chapter basically on unity, a chapter on basically letting us know that we're all family, we are one with God. Instruction 1. You are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breasts of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with our brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relations that bonded you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of our Father be contributed to the support of his whole race, and his cares be continued to you all with your love to each other. I want to also say congratulations to all the Moors who became sheiks. I honor you, Moors. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you, Brother J. Coleman Neal. Sending thoughts out to you, your family, your sister, our sister who's also with child. So sending out those positive thoughts to you all as well. Beautiful thoughts, welcoming baby number 2. May Allah be pleased to continue to guide you and the family. And
praise Allah.
our brother read from page 35, chapter number 25. Brother Coleman is known for chapter 25. That was something that is very important. It's actually a chapter that all of us can benefit from retaining. It's one of the shorter of the chapters as far as an instruction. I don't want to say the shortest chapter because all of them have lessons that unfold to be so much more than even if it's just even in 5 instructions. But
page 35, chapter 25 is one of those instructions that we would love to be able to read. We've got some, the prop said it's the electrified age, right? We got some lightning fast Moors on to the right here. It looks like they completed the prophet's finances and work down to the point of even stealing the envelope. So may Allah be pleased.
Islam, can I say one more thing? If you don't mind.
I'm sorry, there, brother.
I just want to say, honest to brother W. Kadena Bay. Islam Mo, you was on fire, Mo. You definitely was on fire at the convention. You was on fire, Mo.
Still on fire, Mo. A lot of Moors are still on fire. Don't bring out the fire extinguisher. Let me just burn.
Woo! That's right. Honest to brother W. Grand Sheik too. Oh, you're paying too. Praise Allah.
And I'm all burnt up like Phoenix that I just come back.
That's right. Like the Phoenix, right?
Praise Allah. He knows the prophet's his water. He's all right. The boy's doing well. Praise Allah. The Grand Sheik also just wanted to continue a thought in connection with Sister Jordanelle's question, concerning Brother J. Florence Gill, the Assistant Grand Governor of the state of New Jersey, who's also a member of Temple number 48 out in New Jersey, who was actually here at our temple, also always supports it for the New York events and different things just as they can. He mentioned that there's a GoFundMe page. I know Sister Jordanelle has also shared the link in our group chat. It's also on the Facebook page, and it's on our national Facebook page. It was something that was put together by his daughter, from my understanding, Rakia, or Raki. I don't want to mispronounce the name, but something that was put together, but also just something that I took note of. If you do have the wife's number or the family number, it was asked that we kind of refrain from contacting. I'm sure it will help for her to be able to process and just kind of go through the emotions as may need be. But again, the GoFundMe page. If you are unable to locate that, please feel free to send a donation to Temple34's Cash App. You can just put in the notes that it's a donation for Brother J. Florence Gill, or you can put for the sick brother in the hospital if for whatever reason you can't remember the name, or the brother who got sick during convention. Just a note that'll allow it to be known. May Allah continue to bless you all and your families. May this all be, just a note for us to also just maintain and check in on our health, right? Because, getting sick or certain things have no physical appearance. Some things have no physical appearance to it, and you never know. You might not see it on your person. And so with that, I just urge you all to make sure you take care of your health as well. Maybe just a routine checkup, see if your diet can be, slightly adjusted, see a dietitian, for your insurance coverage, they have a dietitian where you can adjust your diet. And the rest of those thoughts with regard to your health are for personal and related to yourself. So make those personal decisions as you see fit, but never hesitate to at least utilize the equipment that's available to us, because we're scientists. It's more science, Temple of America. So I hope that we're not refuting all of science and just go, never mind, who needs me, KG? I'm good, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Broken bone, I don't want a CAT scan. So, just please take care of yourself. Looks like the Moors are all the way ready. Islam, I would like to turn our attention to Brother I. Smith Gill as he reads our financial report for the 24th of September, and I give our honors to our AGF also for his assistance.
Islam. Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, Prophet Noble Dali founder. Temple number 34, finance received for September 24th, 2023. Public collection took in $9.50. Uplifting fund, $13.50. Travel fund, $13.50. Local building fund, $8.50. Attendance today was 27, with a grand total of finance received of $45.
Islam, you heard the reading of today's financial report with will and pleasure of the Lord. Islam, Brother Sheikh, Brother White Phil.
Islam, I move that the financial report be accepted with any necessary corrections if there be any.
Islam, give me a second. Islam, Brother W. Clinton Bay, AGF. Islam was moved by Brother Y. Cyrus Ill Grand Chief, seconded by Brother W. Clinton Bay, Assistant Grand Chief, that the financial report be accepted with the necessary corrections if there be any. You heard the motion. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All those in favor show by the Moorish way of voting. All those opposed, same sign. Let the secretary note that the motion has been carried.
Carried, praise Allah.
Islam. Praise Allah, Moors. That concludes our Sunday school. I'd like to thank everyone for their contributions financially, spiritually, and physically. Our AGS has a thought. I'm gonna call on our AGS. Islam.
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 Yeah, I was just thinking when the grand chief was reading the warning, he said I could read the warning. That, you know, actually on that document, it says all governors. It doesn't say grand governors, and at the time of the prophet, you had governors that were over the temple. So my understanding of it was that the head of the temple read the warning to the people. And then over the years, we had grand governors, so it became a custom. And you would call the grand governor or a higher official. But my understanding was just the head of the temple. It's kind of like an honorary thing that the grand chief call the grand governor or another official. It's not like that.
Yes. For those of you that weren't able to hear, Brother Clinton Bay, our AGS, also the Assistant Grand National Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, kind of just gave a point of information that as the Grand Chief was going to yield upon reading the warning, that it wasn't necessary, that it was more of a custom. And at the top of the warning, it says, Prophet warns all Muslims, governors. And so he spoke to the fact that governors was something that was in place to cover, overseeing all the temples. And so they would have been the one to read the warning. But in its place, it's been done by the Grand Chief, the head of the temple. And another point, Islam?
The governor was over one temple.
Oh, so correction, the governor wasn't over all of the temples of the state. It was over one.
Grand governor became over all.
All right, so the governor was over one temple. So each temple had a governor who would be over that temple. And as we have now grand governors, it's the difference. The grand governors are over the temples of the state. So it was a change done. So thank you for that information and that piece of history. Islam? As there were no other thoughts, the Grand Chief said that was the end of the thoughts as well for him. Again, just thank you all for your contributions financially, physically, and spiritually. May Allah guide you all, and may we all make it back to our destination safely. All rise, face the east. Heels together, forming a 90-degree angle. 5 fingers on the left hand, 2 fingers on the right hand. As we repeat the Moorish American prayer after our AGS brother W.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
The Father of love.
Peace.
Peace.
And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my
protector.
My God.
My salvation.
And my salvation. By night.
By day.
And by day. Through the holy prophet. Through Ali. Amen.
Me.
Hey.
Peace and love, Moors. Peace and love.
Peace and love, Moors.
Outro in one moment.
It's peace and peace is Islam. Peace and love, Mos.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, Brother Coleman Bay.
And I love
Coleman Hill.
to the children.
Peace and love, brother Jordan L. and the Jordan L family and all the Moors. Praise Allah. Peace.
Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace and love.
Islam family.
Yeah, oh, we gonna get the outro though.
Let's see if I got something loaded here.
Oh, wait, I do this stuff.
Everyone have a good rest of the weekend. Rest of the
Peace and love, brother Cyrus L. Peace.
Peace, brother Coleman Hill. Congratulations, Pop.
Peace and love. Yes.
Thank you.
Peace and love, peace, brother Jordan L. Sheik. Peace, you and sister Jordan L. Congratulations.
We got a brother that's, you know,
And Michaela, Brandon, and James.
Peace and love.